Specializes in citrus juice like our morning OJ is now worrying whether that freeze in Florida will have ice on its Connecticut profits. Channel 3's Brian Garnett has the story.
This citrus juice was fresh squeezed and trucked here from Florida this morning. But already that same-day delivery by the Natural Juice Company of Connecticut has run into problems because of the Florida freeze.
Well, we've had a delayed shipment already, but that was because of getting the fruit out of the groves to the production.
Peter Ferris started his juice company right out of college, at first delivering in an old station wagon. Now, just 3 years later, at 25, he's owner of a growing $500,000-a-year retail business based in Madison. But it's a business that threatens to go sour because it's dependent on Florida citrus. The fourth frost in just 5 years nearly wiping out a crop, including the one in a 250-acre Florida grove that Ferris's company had bought just 3 weeks ago.
Unfortunately, Mother Nature plays a very big factor to us. Citrus these days is very risky. There's really no guarantees.
As you'd expect, Ferris is predicting that the squeeze will soon be put on consumers, both in terms of the price and availability of both citrus juice and citrus fruits. Ferris sees a short supply of citrus juice nearly doubling in price.
We just have to try and work with it and hope that the consumer understands. They read about it in the paper. They know what's happened in Florida, so hopefully they'll react the way that we hope they will when the prices go up, if they go up.
They'll keep on buying it.
We certainly hope so.
Ferris says he'll have to start looking more and more to the Caribbean to assure his fresh juice isn't frozen. Brian Garnett, Channel 3.
Who are Connecticut's fast trackers today, and how did they get where they are? One man started in the basement with nothing more than a good idea. Now, only 5 years later, he's the head of a $1 million business. Channel 3's Newton Burkett with a profile in tonight's Eyewitness News Extra.
I'm sure there's going to be some, but
What temperature do those trucks run at? 38 degrees, right?
Yeah, but they'll put plastic sleeve on.
Make no mistake about it, Pete Ferris is on the fast track. This 27-year-old entrepreneur from Simsbury, the man who took E.B. Richfield's from his parents' basement to a produce aisle near you, built a $1 million business in 5 years, but he still does windows.
It's a business that's doing about $1.2 million. It took us 5 years to get some real tangible profit. We had profits last year, which is really kind of exciting.
E.B. Richfield's is so successful, he says, because no one else does it quite like this. 250 acres of groves in Wabasso, Florida, where the oranges are picked, and a state-of-the-art processing plant nearby where the juice is packaged and shipped north.
24 hours later, the juice arrives here in Pete Ferris's Madison warehouse, where it's stored for roughly 1 day, and then shipped out to 150 places in Connecticut, New York State, and Massachusetts. 5,500 gallons of juice a week.
It wasn't always like this. Less than 4 years ago, he owned 2 trucks and delivered 100 gallons a week to a handful of hotels in and around Hartford. He was barely breaking even.
I mean, a lot of bankers just laughed at me when I went in there, because a lot of times I go in there dressed as a driver, just because of the time element. And they wouldn't want to have anything to do with me. It's just a good idea, and now it's different.
He took his act on the road to dozens of restaurants and grocery stores across the state. He polished up the image just a bit, and with the help of a Boston ad agency, Connecticut Natural Juice Company became E.B. Richfield's. This is company headquarters in Madison, where Ferris employs 9 people, most of whom are older than he is. His salary just short of 6 figures. Even at home with his wife Amy and 7-month-old Elizabeth Ashley, Daddy is one CEO who keeps his eye on the bottom line.
I only bring juice home when we have guests, and I've never really had juice in our home, and I've always looked at it as I really can't afford to do it because that's my profit. That's in my cooler. So maybe now, as we continue to get a little more successful, I'll bring home a quart every once in a while. But right now, I think that's where we stand. No juice for a while.
For most of us, money doesn't grow on trees. But if Connecticut is ripe for the fresh squeezed orange juice business, for Pete Ferris, maybe it does. Newton Burkett, Channel 3 Eyewitness News on the Night Beat.